What's up guys, it's ChizzyPuff bringing you another RWBY video. I talked nearly the entire time last one and I still hadn't got out everything I wanted. So this is for you guys, bringing you up to speed on what I've done with the pre-alpha. The first thing I want to talk about is the combat, because the majority of the combat system has not been talked about by anyone and I think it's fairly extensive, but still in need of some work. Your shield quickly regenerates, and might I add, sounds very similar to the Halo shield when it does, but your abilities cost a portion of this shield. Your options are very limited if you want to survive because of this. You have two primary attacks that I will be calling left attack and right attack because of the mouse buttons associated with them, and 5 abilities as well as a roll/dash mechanic. There are many combinations of attacks, and while one or the other might have higher DPS, meaning damage per second, the best combos to use are the ones that do the most total damage, as Grimm cannot retaliate during the duration as opposed to short combos that drop the Grimm often. Now I want to talk about many of these combos and which ones are viable when trying to complete the game or even be competitive in it. I should explain beforehand that every hit has an average damage value, and the damage you deal will range between 1 lower or 1 higher. The average damage of a basic attack is 8, and the left click finisher tops off the chart at 24. This means the average left attack combo deals a total of 72 damage. Second on the list is the right attack combo. This is also very basic and deals 7 normal attacks as opposed to the left attack 6, and the finisher deals 3 attacks for 8 damage, equaling the previous 24. This attack deals 80 overall damage. These two attacks can be combined to make longer chains of attacks that do even more damage, but I'm just going to skip to the one that you should use as often as possible. This is what I creatively named the left-right combo. You deal the full extent of your left attack minus finisher, followed by the full extent of your right attack minus finisher, then 3 left attacks with right click finisher. This adds up to 19 8 damage attacks, or 152 total damage. Before I mentioned a sort of roll dash. What I mean by this is if you right attack and roll at the same time, you will instead propel yourself forward by firing a bullet. You can go right into attacking immediately after your jump. This allows you to instantly close the gap between you and the Grimm to prevent them from damaging you. Now typically you don't want to use a left attack roll because it'll send you into aerial attack mode and cut your combo short, but because it immediately knocks targets up into the air, it's great for interrupting the boss when he's blocking. I'm not sure the combo here is performed perfectly, but it's a pretty good example of what you should aim for. Welcome to the ability section, where I really don't have much to say because honestly you shouldn't be using abilities very often. The only one I would use regularly is the first ability I call Whirlwind for obvious reasons. It does a respectable amount of damage and doesn't drain your shield for it, while extending the juggle time of the Grimm. The second ability I call Execute due to its visual similarity to the Execute ability in the original game. It does decent damage and costs a decent portion of your shield as well, and actually shifts the position of the Grimm, which can really wreck you sometimes. The third ability is what I like to call the fadeaway, which I totally didn't just make up because I use it all the time. You dash your opponent and damage them for a small amount before rebounding off. This gives you invulnerability until the effect ends, but it costs a portion of your shield. The last ability I call Buster Shot because it was the name used in the original game. This shot depletes your entire shield and deals damage equal to the shield consumed, which tops off at 50. I was only able to successfully pull this off once, as most of the time Grimm can just sidestep it. In conclusion, Whirlwind is decent, Execute is iffy, Pulse Cannon is situational at best, and Fadeaway typically does more harm than good. Please don't take my word for it though, try them out yourself and let me know if you find a good use for them. Now some of you might be wondering about my experience. Who am I to tell you how to play the game? Well, I am, without trying to sound like a douchebag, the triple crown holder for world record highest wave in the original and current survival mode, and fastest time in extermination. If you'd like to see any of these videos, click the annotation or check the link in the description. Before I go, I'd like to talk about some of the current bugs in the game and explain how they can happen so you can prevent the game being unfinishable. This first bug is typically caused by teleporting by hitting F while targeting a Grimm, which can clip you through the ground. There is no safety net, so if this happens you fall forever. I don't know if this one can be considered a bug, but if a Grimm is falling between 2 polygons that prevent him from landing, he will fall infinitely and cannot receive damage. This one caused me a lot of confusion when I first tried to play survival. When using a mouse, no matter what mode you select, the game will load the last option your mouse is hovered over when the main menu fully fades out. A similar issue happens when using the in-game menu. This is another bug related to the mouse where the menu auto-scrolls between return and menu. The main part of this bug though is that if you select menu and it hovers over return as it fades out, or you click return while it fades out, it will allow you to keep playing the game but with a faded out screen. This also disables the menu and can only be fixed by refreshing your browser. The last bug I found is another clipping issue where you can clip through the top or the side of the bridge. Luckily, if this happens when there is a Grimm around, you can finally make use of fadeaway. Thanks again to the RWBY crew over at Rooster Teeth, and I never say this, but if you want to see more RWBY stuff in the future, subscribe and I will keep you guys up to date on the latest. That's it for this video, thanks for watching.